Today I'm making cornbread, but not just regular cornbread and not cornbread where you put, jalapenos or something in it. Today I'm going to be adding something I love to cook and love to eat, and that's chorizo. So yes, today I'm making chorizo cornbread. All right, I need to get my chorizo cooked up first because you need to cook it before you put it in the cornbread mix. It's not going to cook in there. So I'm gonna fire up my pan here on medium-high heat, and I'm gonna add 9 ounces of a pork chorizo. We're gonna let this cook here, we're gonna break it up, and then any grease that comes off, any excess grease will drain off before we add it to our cornbread mixture. Chorizo's cooking up, you can see all that great grease that comes off this. I love actually the flavor that comes out of chorizo when you cook it, especially pork chorizo. You mix it with egg, you have chorizo and egg, but we're gonna have to drain some of this grease off today. It's gonna be a little too much, I think, to add to the cornbread. All right, our chorizo is done. I'm gonna go ahead and drain this, and then we'll move over to making our cornbread mixture. All right, so what I'm working with here is a cornbread mix. This isn't from scratch. This is a Bob's Red Mill cornbread mix. You can buy this in any store. You can use any cornbread mix you want. You can make your own cornbread from scratch. We're just gonna be adding the chorizo to this. We're gonna start by adding 1½ cups of milk to our mixture here. We're also adding 2 eggs that have been beaten. Not violently, just beaten. The recipe calls for ½ cup of vegetable oil, but I'm only gonna add about 1/4 cup right now because there is still a lot of that juice in the chorizo even after being drained. And we can add more oil to it once we see how we're doing. So I'm gonna give this a mix first before I add our chorizo. Get everybody mixed in here. Scrape the sides. We don't want any lumps. Now this cornbread today, it's gonna be smoked out in my electric smoker using maple wood. And we're gonna be doing it at a lower temperature than would be normal for an oven. We're doing it at 250. So it's gonna take a little longer than a normal cornbread recipe. So with this mix, you have to mix it for 30 seconds. So we've got it well incorporated here. Probably will have to add some more oil, but we're gonna add the chorizo first so we can see. And so let's get our chorizo in there with some of its juices, its little red grease. We're gonna start mixing this in. Oh, the smell of this is really good. All right, I think I am gonna add a little bit more of the oil that we have reserved. So we have about 1/4 cup left. I'm gonna add about 1/2 of that. So it would be like 1/8 cup. Mix this in. All right, it's time to get this into our greased foil pan. All right, so this foil pan is sort of small. We don't want to make a whole big batch of this in the smoker. So if we have a little extra, we'll make it in the oven. But this has been generously greased with butter, very generously, because we want this cornbread to hopefully release when we're done with it. So we're just gonna start filling our pan here. Man, it's like, love the color on this cornbread with the chorizo we've added to it. Just gonna give this a shake, spread this around a bit. Try and get it even, but once it starts cooking in the smoker, it'll even itself out a little bit. I'm not shooting for perfect, beautiful cornbread. I'm shooting for tasty chorizo cornbread. If it looks good, that's a bonus. And I think it's gonna actually look really nice with this color. All right, that's it. Let's get this out to the smoker. All right, I have the Char-Broil Electric going. It's set at 250 degrees, and we have maple wood inside for our smoke today, which is really nice. So let's get our chorizo cornbread in. So normally this would bake for 25 minutes at 375, but we're at basically 2/3 of that temperature. So I'm not even gonna look at this for probably 40 minutes. We're gonna let that smoke and cook. I'll see you guys in about 40 minutes when we check it. All right, we've been going 40 minutes. Let's check this. Oh, look at that nice red color in there. So what I want to do now is check with a toothpick. Just see in dead center, is it going to come out clean? You know, there's a little bit, not much, but I can also feel it's fairly soft. So I'm gonna add another 15 minutes here and we'll check in 15 minutes, see how we're doing. All right, we're gonna close this up and keep on smoking. See you in about 15 minutes. All right, it's been another 15 minutes. We're gonna check this. Oh, just love that color still, look at that. All right, so what I'm gonna check for now is actually firmness on this because we already know that the toothpick was coming out clean. This is feeling pretty good right here. The center's a little soft. The edges are firming up nicely. I'm gonna say 10 more minutes and we should be good. So I'm gonna close this up. We'll bring you back in 10 minutes. All right, our additional 10 minutes is up. Let's have a look. Good, let's see how we're doing. Ah, much better. I think we are ready. All right, I'm gonna get this out of here, get it inside, and it's gonna cool for about 30 minutes to 45 minutes. All right, here is our chorizo cornbread. It's cooled down. It's not 100% cold, it's just not steaming anymore. So it's been about 30 minutes. So I'm gonna cut a piece out of this and then we're gonna do something to that before I taste it. But first, let's cut in. I'm just gonna go straight down the middle here. Across. Now let me transfer one of these pieces to a plate and put the finishing touches on. Now, people put lots of things on cornbread. A lot of times people will put butter. Some people put maple syrup. I'm going to be putting maple syrup today, but the syrup I'm going to be using is a ghost pepper maple syrup from Trader Joe's. So let's put some of this on our cornbread. It smells good, it looks really good. It's time to taste. Now, 99.85% of the population uses a fork to eat their cornbread, unless they pick it up with their hands. I like to use a spoon. There we go, a nice piece soaked with that ghost pepper maple syrup. So, here we go. Chorizo cornbread. Oh wow, that is really nice. The maple syrup goes really well with it. The ghost maple syrup is a little bit of an extravagance on this. If you don't like heat, you don't have to do that. You don't even need syrup on this. The chorizo flavor just permeates every bit of this cornbread. You get the cornbread taste and you get the chorizo just like right in there with a punch. But there's also that sweet little bit of the maple smoke, and that would have just been on the top layer where the moisture is absorbing it there. But this is awesome. Now this would be the perfect base for a cornbread stuffing if you wanted to use this. You could cook it like this, cut it into cubes, dry it out a little bit before you turn it into that stuffing that you're gonna have for Thanksgiving, Christmas, or a special occasion. But honestly, you can serve this just as, gosh, even dessert. Now you don't have to smoke this. You can do it just in the oven. You could do it on the grill. I think that adding smoke flavor to it is just that extra little step that takes this above and beyond.